The South China Sea is once again a flashpoint. China has declared Scarborough Shoal a national nature reserve, a move the Philippines calls a blatant power grab. Manila's government immediately protested, calling it a violation of sovereignty just 124 nautical miles from their coast. This isn't just about rocks, it's a direct challenge to Philippine rights and a test for the region. For years, both nations have sparred over the shoal, but this feels like a turning point. Filipino leaders fear this is the first step toward permanent Chinese control. The nature reserve label is seen as a pretext for restricting access and increasing China's presence. Manila's response was swift. The Department of Foreign Affairs condemned the move as illegal, and defense officials warned it crosses a red line. The Philippines is bracing for what comes next, knowing this could reshape the region's future. The world is watching closely. This is about more than a few rocks. China's move openly defies a 2016 international tribunal ruling that favored the Philippines. By ignoring the ruling, Beijing is sending a message: might makes right in the South China Sea. The Philippines has drawn a line at Scarborough Shoal. The stakes are high for everyone involved. This is a critical test of international law and regional stability. The outcome here could set the tone for the entire South China Sea. The world waits to see who will blink first. For Filipino defense officials, China's nature reserve announcement is a chilling déjà vu. They've seen this playbook before: small, innocent-sounding moves that lead to permanent occupation. The memory of Mischief Reef looms large. What began as fishermen's shelters became a military fortress. A nature reserve provides cover for China to deploy ships and restrict access. Filipino leaders fear this is the first step in a familiar strategy: construction, reclamation, militarization. China's salami-slicing approach, incremental, calculated moves, has changed the map before. Each step is small enough to avoid global outrage, but together, they add up to a strategic takeover. The nature reserve sounds peaceful, but to Manila, it's an ominous signal. Once China establishes a presence, it's nearly impossible to reverse. The Philippines is protesting loudly, hoping to stop the process before it becomes irreversible. They're warning the world: if Scarborough Shoal becomes a reserve, it could soon be a fortress. This isn't paranoia, it's hard-earned experience. The lesson is clear: small moves can have huge consequences. The Philippines is determined not to let history repeat itself. They know what's at stake if they stay silent. The world is being put on notice. Scarborough Shoal could be lost forever if action isn't taken now. The time to act is before the first concrete is poured. Manila is sounding the alarm. Will anyone listen? Mischief Reef is a painful lesson for the Philippines. In 1995, China built fishermen's shelters deep inside the Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone. The world watched, but did little. Over 2 decades, those shelters grew. Wood became concrete, then an island, then a military base. Today, Mischief Reef is a Chinese fortress, complete with runways, radar, and missiles. The promise of harmless shelters was a lie. For the Philippines, it was a devastating loss: territory taken and militarized. This history is a blueprint for how small incursions become permanent. Now, with Scarborough Shoal, the same pattern is emerging. Nature reserve sounds like fishermen's shelter, the start of something much bigger. Filipino leaders see the warning signs. They're determined not to lose another vital fishing ground to militarization. The lesson of Mischief Reef is clear: act early or risk losing everything. The stakes are not just territorial, they're about sovereignty and survival. The Philippines is fighting to prevent another loss. They won't stand by and watch history repeat itself. The world must remember what happened at Mischief Reef. Scarborough Shoal is the next test. Will the outcome be different this time? In 2016, the Philippines won a landmark legal victory at The Hague. The tribunal ruled China's sweeping claims in the South China Sea had no legal basis. It affirmed the Philippines' rights to features like Scarborough Shoal and Mischief Reef. The ruling condemned China's actions and environmental damage. On paper, it was a triumph for Manila and international law. But China rejected the ruling outright, calling it waste paper. Nothing changed at sea. Chinese ships stayed. Filipino fishermen were blocked. The years since have shown the limits of international law without enforcement. The Philippines had the law, but China had the ships. The world saw that a powerful nation could ignore a legal ruling with few consequences. This set a dangerous precedent for global order. The Philippines' victory became a moral win, but a practical loss. The struggle for Scarborough Shoal moved from the courtroom to the water. The lesson law alone isn't enough. Without action, even the strongest ruling can be ignored. The fight for the shoal is far from over. The world must decide if rules matter, or if power does. Scarborough Shoal is more than rocks. It's a lifeline and a symbol. For the Philippines, it's a traditional fishing ground and a matter of national pride. Losing access has devastated local communities. For China, the shoal is a strategic prize. Its location completes a triangle of military outposts, giving China control over the South China Sea. It's key for monitoring traffic and protecting China's nuclear submarines. A base here would put Manila within range of Chinese missiles and sensors. It's a direct threat to Philippine security and a challenge to the US and its allies. Scarborough Shoal is now a flashpoint, a clash of livelihoods, sovereignty, and superpower ambitions. The fight is about who controls the seas and whose vision will shape the region. The fate of the shoal will echo far beyond its waters. The stakes could not be higher. Outgunned at sea, the Philippines has adopted a new strategy: assertive transparency. Instead of hiding confrontations, they document and publicize every incident. Cameras roll as Chinese ships use water cannons or block Filipino vessels. The footage is released to the world, exposing China's aggressive tactics. This marks a shift from the past, when incidents were downplayed. President Marcos Jr. believes silence only emboldened China. Now the goal is to win global opinion and build international support. China claims it's defending its territory, but the videos tell a different story. The evidence makes it harder for China to deny its actions. The Philippines can't match China's navy, but it can leverage the power of information. This strategy is risky. It could provoke Beijing further, but for Manila, it's a risk worth taking. The world is being asked to watch and to care. The Philippines is fighting back with truth and transparency. The hope, that global attention will deter further aggression. The battle for Scarborough Shoal is now being fought in the court of public opinion. The world's response could tip the balance. The Philippines isn't alone. It relies on its alliance with the United States. The 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty is the backbone of Philippine security. The U.S. has clarified the treaty covers attacks in the South China Sea. Joint patrols and exercises send a message of unity to Beijing. Manila is also building ties with Japan, Australia, and European powers. These partners condemn China's actions and support freedom of navigation. But within ASEAN, support is muted. Many neighbors prioritize economic ties with China. This leaves the Philippines looking further afield for allies. The risk of escalation is real. A miscalculation could draw in the US and its partners. Manila must balance alliances and regional politics carefully. The search for support is a high-stakes diplomatic effort. The outcome will determine if the Philippines can defend its rights without sparking a wider conflict. The world is watching how far its friends will go. The Scarborough Shoal dispute is no longer theoretical, it's dangerous and real. Filipino vessels face water cannon attacks and intimidation from Chinese ships. These confrontations are escalating, with injuries and damaged ships. China's tactics are designed to intimidate and drive the Philippines out. Each clash raises the risk of a deadly incident that could spiral into conflict. Filipino sailors face overwhelming odds, but their resolve is unbroken. The cost of defending their rights is high, measured in damaged ships and wounded crew. The government faces a tough choice: back down or risk greater conflict. The front lines are now at sea, not in the courtroom. The price is paid by those who sail into harm's way. The world must decide if it will stand with them. Scarborough Shoal is now the epicenter of a global test. Will the world be ruled by law or by force? The Philippines is fighting for sovereignty, resources, and dignity. Its stand is a testament to national will, but will alone isn't enough. China is testing the resolve of the Philippines, the US, and the world. If the world looks away, the rules-based order could collapse. The consequences will reach far beyond Southeast Asia. The fate of this small shoal carries enormous weight. The world must choose Paul the Pomtois Bambal Fidi Na Law Babubobaperban Bobasoban and sovereignty, or accept a new reality shaped by power. The decision at Scarborough Shoal will echo for decades. Will the seas remain free or become the domain of the powerful? The line is drawn. The world cannot afford to ignore it. The next move will define the future of the region.